These two teams so evenly matched. This should be plenty of fireworks are going to be seen here, and not just the soundtrack in Rocket League. But without any further ado, I think it's about time to get started with the regional championships for Europe. First match is Northern Gaming versus Mocket Aces. With the commentary down on the field, it's going to be Shogun and Final Carpet. They're standing by.
We are here at the beautiful and glorious DFH Stadium for our first game of today's regional finals, Northern Gaming versus Mocket Aces. I am joined by Findable Carpet. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. Opening up today with a team we haven't gotten to watch in 2 weeks. Northern Gaming didn't play last week because they had immediately qualified up to this stage. Northern Gaming, a team that I've always loved watching. As he said, two people on Northern Gaming, Maestro and Remco, tied for number 2 for goals scored. So obviously just a highly aggressive team. But again, we saw Violent Panda. We've seen Devo do so many things on his team. Passion, I even know, is an incredible striker just in general, especially the 1v1 quality. I think this should be a really close set.
And there is another story we have to be added to this series as well, which is that Pashi90 was actually a trialist for Northern Gaming. He was a part of that roster for 2 or 3 weeks before being removed when they all decided, yeah, this isn't quite working out. So it's going to be an opportunity for him to test out to see whether or not the right decision was made, and if he can take down the team that he previously tried to join. Ball played up high. Maestro is going to be the first one over to that. As Pashi ends up leaving it, Devo's got to turn himself around not quickly enough, and Remco's putting that pressure on early. Over to the side, Pashi passes it over to the middle. Violent Panda and Devo both look at it, eventually going over to Devo, but Mystic puts that pressure on early, and Pashi with the early clear away. Devo trying to get it off the backboard, but Remco does not want to look at any of those Mocket Aces rebound plays, as Devo has to take that one away from the backboard early on. Both these teams trying to find a way through there. This could be it off the backboard. Here goes Maestro for the shot. Ends up missing a bit. Remco with the follow-up.
Remco had too much time for this shot. We see 2 defensive whiffs, but they did expect Maestro, I believe, to go up for this, and Remco comes up. We said Violent Panda, he tried his best. It was actually a really close attempt, especially from the backboard, but it was just too much of an easy shot.
Yeah, you cannot afford to be allowing those backboard shots coming from Northern Gaming. It's something that they built their entire reputation on, and they will continue to utilize that to try and take more victories now and in the future. As Violent Panda looks for the long launch, just trying to get some sort of movement out of Mystic, and he's done it, but Mystic tries to go for the double touch. Devo, long shot from him, going to force the move out. Remco, nice tap over to the side. And Mystic with the clearance away. Northern Gaming need to try and find a way out of their own half here, but Mocket just squeezing them into that final third. Yet again, back into that final third, but they cannot force any sort of movement. And that could be a long shot off the backboard. No one on there for the shot afterwards. Maestro just tries to put something in, but easy enough save there for Violent Panda.
Northern Gaming staying patient. We just saw Mocket in their half for an unprecedented amount of time, but Northern Gaming didn't show any signs of sweat. They were comfortably taking it from the corner, just batting it out one after another until they found the hole to finally get the counterattack.
Devo's going to try and look for that way in. Doesn't get the contact he wants, but he could still find Pashi. Almost squeezes that in from the side. As Mystic beats that by Violent Panda. Once again, Mocket forcing it into that Northern Gaming half. As the pressure is still on, Northern Gaming being forced to taste their own medicine. This is something that they were known for so long. As Violent Panda still putting that pressure on. Now Devo off the backboard. Going to look for Pashi. Pashi's got himself up, but Remco's going to beat him to it. But 2 players committed there for Northern Gaming. Means this passing play can come through. Violent Panda off the backboard, but Remco yet again. So smart, getting those over to the sides every single time, not allowing any rebound plays to come through.
But I do have to say, seeing this aggression from Mocket so early on, especially in game 1, we always talk about, especially yesterday, you, me, Shogun, about that feeler game. That first game, a lot of teams tend to just play patient. They want to make sure they get the touches they need. They don't want to give up the first win. But Mocket is playing so quickly. They might be a game or a goal behind right now, but I don't think it's going to last for very long.
Ball's going to be played away. And once again, another huge save there from the Northern Gaming squad, refusing to let anything go past them. This defense just seems unbreachable at this point. As they continue to try and find a way past, Mocket cannot afford to start getting frustrated at their situation. Yes, they are a goal down, but they still have 1 minute and 50 seconds left to try and pull that one back. As Devo eventually clears that one away, only over to Mystic, and now Northern Gaming are going to try and force this squeezing pressure onto Mocket this time around. As the ball up high, Remco just wants to get a tap onto it, not allowing the clearance to come through for Mocket. Eventually cleared away by 2 players. That's going to force Pashy to try and play somewhat defensively. He came out of the rotation for a small period of time, but gave him enough room to get backwards on. And this is now a poor situation for Mocket to be in. Every single time they are forced to try and play this ball away, it is wasting more and more time. Maestro to demolish off screen on Violent Panda. So that pressure is still coming in. More demolishes. Northern Gaming starting to look a lot like the Mocket squad. Mystic looking for the pass, but Maestro is also up there in support. And Remco shot onto target, and they have put themselves 2 goals in the lead.
Catching Devo off guard. Devo is trying the best to follow this up. We see Violent Panda going up the left-hand side while Pashy tried to contest that, but as soon as he didn't, Devo tried to trust him. Remco was able to put the shot over him, and since no one retreated back to net, that's something we see a lot of high-level play. You want to try and get that offensive play. You want to go from defense to offense quickly. So generally, you have to position yourself a little bit risky, but all it takes is being just a little bit to the left or the right of the goal, and you're going to leave it wide open for a shot from someone like Remco.
Yeah, we saw that Northern Gaming have not had the majority of the opportunities in this game, but they have capitalized on every single one of them. As Mystic just trying to force us back into the Mocket half. 40 seconds for 2 goals. That is the challenge proposed to this Mocket squad as Remco tries to make it free, but he was playing it backwards and was always going to get beat to that. But that pressure is yet again coming in. And there's Maestro. Brave play from him coming in as that 3rd man. If he was beat, that was going to be an easy goal there for Mocket. Mystic trying to play over to the side, ends up missing it. Maestro ends up missing it, and you cannot afford to make mistakes like that against Mocket.
From a team that had such solid defense for the first nearly entire 5 minutes of this game, that one tiny mistake gave this into a 1-point game, actually giving Mocket a chance. They have 17 seconds. We've definitely seen it done, especially because at that 0-second mark, as long as you don't touch the ground, you have all the time you can afford.
Certainly do, and that is going to be Mocket trying to put that pressure on. Violent Panda, nice fake from him, tried to get the pass as well. Great play from him, keeping his cool, trying to find a way through. But Mocket needs something to work out now. Devo puts that ball up high. There's not going to be anyone around, but he might have found a target. Remco forced to save, and now if that ball touches the floor, it will be game over. And Northern Gaming trying to put that one down, just gets it to the side, not finding the ramp.
I mean, if there's any way to describe Northern Gaming in that game, it was calm and collected. They played safe, they played smart, even on defense when they had a lot of pressure on them. They were positioning themselves well, they were positioning themselves wide, they would take it from the corner, they would clear before it even got close to the net. Mocket didn't have a whole lot of opportunities for a lot of their aggressive plays. I mean, they did get 9 shots on goal though, so definitely is quite a bit. 9 shots compared to 7, but Northern Gaming did come out on top, so they took the opportunities. They might have been fewer, but they were a little more accurate with it, and they had larger holes to score from.
Yeah, Northern Gaming were very good that game, not only not allowing shots, but also saving the ones that did come in. We are going to be moving on to Manfield for our next game. It's a glorious map. I think this is like mix up between this one and DFH for the favorite competitive map. Certainly has a very good vibe around it, but yes, a very good way of starting us off. As we were saying yesterday, teams did look very nervy in that first game. This one, these European teams look like they've come out to play.
And just to give you an idea, Mocket aces every single player with 3 shots on goal. And then to go with what Gibbs said, you know, we saw Remco and Maestro. They're just a monster duo. They, you know, Remco with 4 shots, Maestro with 2, and Mystic only with 1, just to kind of show that Mystic, you know, when he did come into the roster, once Greasy left, it's just not the same dynamic when you have 2 players that have played so well. So those 2 kind of, I feel like those guys are up front. They're making those passing plays. They're trying to get those strong strikes. While Mystic is a nice grounded player, trying to fill the spot, trying to be in the positions that they can't be in.
Certainly is working out, and this looks like a series going off that first game that could go either way. Because Mocket definitely had the majority of the play. If they can start warming up into this series mechanically and finding a couple more team plays where they can just pull apart this Northern Gaming defense, this could be very interesting moving forward. Sending 2 players to that ball, though. Not the best starts. This going to force Violent Panda to play by himself, and he has dealt with it perfectly well. Ball's going to be left alone for the time being. And it just looks like Mocket struggling to put themselves into this match at the moment. A couple of nerves as we get themselves into this. Violent Panda going to go and go for the dribble. Still got a hold of the ball. Pass over to the side, but there's no one there to get a hold of it. Now that's going to be put up high by Mystic. Over to Maestro. Maestro off the backboard, and Pashy forced to clear it away early on. Mystic once again refusing to go away. Violent Panda puts that one up high. He's going to try and follow that one up. Tries to get the block, doesn't get it. Ball's over the top of Devo, and Pashy forced to come out as that 3rd man. Now there's no one back. Violent Panda tried to get over the top. Mystic has got himself into the net, and here comes Maestro. Clears it away. Mocket are finding gaps. They need to just have that slight little bit of edge to them. where they can just break through and score some goals.
It has got to be frustrating. Pashy just had a wide opportunity. I don't think he believed the defender to stay grounded as long as he did. So he took a shot, didn't fully line it up because I don't think he was prepared for it to be as open as he was, but they could have had a 1-goal lead. Had that quarter second, I thought he had just a little bit more time.
Ball cleared away. Only over to Remco, though, who keeps that pressure going. Devo has been hit a couple of times as far as I've seen so far in this game. The attempted clear will come through. Mystic takes the ball under his control, going to take it all the way. 3 touches there from him. And Violent Panda just says, yeah, you got a lot of touches, but I can just hit it once, and it's, it's out, it's gone. Now Violent Panda, Pash over to Pashy. Pashy lays that one into the top corner.
Even though we just saw Northern Gaming get 2 demolitions in only 30 seconds, they weren't able to capitalize in this passing play. This is what we've seen Mocket do. They're so aggressive, they're right next to each other, they know how to pass it off. They're there to read it quicker than anyone else in the field. You saw Violent Panda take that flick. Pashy was there before Northern Gaming was even able to read where that ball was headed.
But the danger in that situation as well is Violent Panda can easily just say, no, I'm not going to dribble. I'm going to just go for, I'm not going to pass. I'm just going to go for the dribble. Here comes the shot from Mystic off the backboard. Has got 2 players from Mocket to react, and that's going to allow Remco to come with the rebound.
Frustrating. Devo was up for this, but just misread it a bit off the backboard. These are tough to do, especially when you're netty. He was also coming from the post side. Not the best angle you want to come from, but he realized there was no one in front of him. There was no one actually able to go for this, so somebody had to contest. Even if you miss it completely, maybe Northern Gaming sits back seeing like, oh, well, they trusted him to get it. Maybe they expect him and fall back, but in this case, not so much. Northern Gaming still took the opportunity.
That's just going to get the block onto Maestro. Ball's going to be loose for the time being, as we have a tied game as we reach the midway point of Game 2 here. Mystic just over the top. Violent Panda just flicks that one up, and Maestro should get the clearance over to Remco. Remco puts that one up high, and that's going to be Devo just saying, that could be mine. Unfortunately, I don't have any boost, but Pashy keeps that pressure going. Try to get a shot onto target, and Violent Panda clears that one away. Devo had the chance there, did not have the boost. Pashy has to save that one. Violent Panda with a demolish onto Maestro. That means he's going to be the one back here. There we see him, the clearance away. Pashy takes that one. Here comes Devo putting that pressure on. Here come Mocket trying to put something together, but Mystic doesn't want to see any of that. Violent Panda just over the top. And that is going to be dangerous. Maestro forced to make a late save onto that, as Remco's going to leave it. Mystic forced to come in. That's going to be Violent Panda keeping that pressure going. Once again, Mocket constricting Northern Gaming to their final third. Devo ends up missing it. Here comes Pashy. Puts that into a dangerous position. Devo sets it up for Violent Panda. What a team play. Mocket aces.
This was unbelievable. Devo with his pass off the back wall. See Violent Panda up to the side. Devo coming off, reading it just before the defender could get there for the clear. Then Violent Panda getting up incredibly fast on top of that ball to make sure to put it down instead of up. That team play. 1, 2, 3.
Do Mocket aces trust each other? Yes, they do. They certainly showed it with that play. And now, Northern Gaming playing from behind. 1 minute and 33 seconds left to play. As Mystic doesn't get the contact onto he wants, and Remco forced to clear it away. That's going to ruin the Northern Gaming rotation. That's going to allow Mocket to start putting together another play, and they're finding these passes much better than ever before. Yes, that one wasn't on target, but now that you know Mocket are starting to find each other and feel where each other are, it's very dangerous as Northern Gaming try and put together their own team play with almost the equal amount of success.
We saw Maestro and Remco actually bump into each other, but as I said, Mystic kind of being that nice third, letting those 2 guys just do what they do best. They've played together for so long. The Mystic's like, I'm going to be that third guy. I'm going to be that nice solid backline. I'll take the shots that you guys can't take.
Ball put up over into the corner. And Pashy's going to be the one just trying to put some pressure on it. He's actually got contact onto it after no touch coming in from Remco. As we see Remco getting a beautiful touch onto that, forcing the save from Devo. And that's going to be just cleared away. Northern Gaming putting together some nice plays, but still no dice for them so far. That's going to be an open ball. Only over to Maestro. He's going to try and get himself over to that. No block for him, though. Violent Panda still just refusing to let the ball go past him. Who needs dribbles when you can just block everything? And Devo's going to be able to look at that one. And here we go. Is Devo going to try and carry this? He's just going to look at it. He's just going to look at it. Why not? As Pashy clears that one away, finds Devo, who's got boost, puts that one up high, off the backboard. Pashy is still around with Devo, and that is going to be on target. Great way to finish this game.
Sealing the deal with only 10 seconds left. I do not see a comeback happening. But again, these passing plays, they are looking for each other. I have no idea how Pashy read that bounce. That was the clunkiest thing It hit the ceiling, then it hit the back. I can't tell if it hit that weird rounded corner that just absorbs enough of the bounce to really throw off a lot of top-tier players. That was an incredible read, and again, look at, trying their best to make sure they get one more goal. And they do. They actually have kept themselves alive potentially with 3 seconds left. Do you think they can do it, Shogun?
We've seen kickoff goals scored yesterday in the North American regional finals. It's very possible we can see it yet again. They need something to go perfectly for them, though. They need to get it in a perfect shooting situation straight from the off. Let's see if they can do it, as they've actually ended up losing that one. Now they cannot afford to let this touch the floor. Remco over to Maestro, but Violent Panda cuts that one out. Here goes Pashy, wanting to finish this off. Doesn't want to hit the floor. He wants to hit the net.
All it takes is one touch to not go in your favor. It went just a little bit too far down. I think he tried to put it down to Maestro, but getting beat out by a Maka player. Can't really fault him for this one. In my eyes, this ended in a 3-2. That last opportunity, you want to just push it through, at least as far as the ways they show, but Maka Aces with one of the best passing plays I have seen so far in the RLCS at all. That was incredible. Devo coming off that back wall to try and beat a defender, just beating out, I believe it was Remco, coming out from net perfectly for the shot. Unbelievable.
Every single player doing their part there. A hat trick there for Pashy 90. Showing us exactly what you can do, but that was the entire team coming up clutch, coming up huge in that game. And we've really got ourselves a series in our hands now. 1 game apiece.
Market now 11 shots, beating out.
They're going to go up. They're going to keep going up.
Beating out Northern Gaming's 8. So, I mean, they had more shots last time, but they ended up still losing the game. But this time they had more opportunities. They're doing a really good job of just keeping Northern Gaming in their half. As you said, they really are just kind of throttling them into just a small area, keeping them from taking any shots, because as we know, Northern Gaming, if you give them shots on net, they will be able to pull it off. We haven't been able to see them do a lot, but I think it's because Maka Aces are trying to choke them out.
Mocket, if they keep that pressure going, and now that we've seen in this game that they've got the mechanics and the team play going, that could be very dangerous moving forward. Northern Gaming are going to have to step it up at yet another gear. We're going to have to keep going as fast as possible in this match, because these players do not look nervy, and it's good to see, because we get to enjoy the best possible quality Rocket League.
We really do, and I saw that game just ramping up in speed as the minutes went by, and I think it's going to say the same for this series. I think this series should only get faster. If we make it to a Game 7, I don't think we're going to be able to pay attention to anything that's going on.
Well, we essentially have a best of 5 at this point, and we've had our 2 warm-up games. We've now seen our players come in. They look hot as they get ourselves into Game 3. Devo's going to try and look for that pass. Violent Panda putting that one up, and here comes Mystic. He's going to have to just try and take that one under his control. Violent Panda ends up getting over to Devo. Now Pashy tries to get it off the rebound, but Maestro ends up leaving it. Here comes Remco, cleared that one all the way into the far corner. And whilst it's not going to offer too much offensive pressure for Mocket, it at least lets them get themselves into a good rotation. There's Pashy, plays that one to the side. We played down, and once again Pashy plays that one, just not wanting that to be in a dangerous area at all, but he's not going to have a choice. Violent Panda, early block onto that one.
If he had not been there, that actually probably would have been on target. He would have been the last defender. His team probably wouldn't have been able to react to a shot at the pace that was coming in from Northern Gaming.
Mystic clears that one away, over to Maestro, but he's going to get beat to that. Pashy going to find that area at the top of the goal and just taking away Remco. Crucial save from him, not allowing Pashy to get any contact onto it. Ball played up high. Here comes Maestro, taking his time, puts that one off the sidewall. Here comes Remco, chooses against going for it because he knows Violent Panda was going to beat him to that ball. Yet again, Remco versus Violent Panda. Violent Panda off the backboard. Maestro has put it into his own net.
This positioning could not have been more unfortunate. We see Violent Panda actually coming off the wall, getting a good touch towards the backboard. It actually was a great setup for a teammate that wasn't there. Well, I guess his teammate's now Northern Gaming because he put it in for him.
Is that potential roster change we could see in the future? That certainly looked like it was working out well within the small period of time we saw it. There's Devo now going to be forced to play that one over the top of Maestro, who was putting that pressure on early. Remco puts it up high. Devo, he's going to try and get some contact onto it. Doesn't get as much as he wanted though, and Maestro puts a weak shot onto target. He'll be disappointed with that. There's Violent Panda now got 3 players around him. There's a lot of blue. But he ends up doing pretty well. That pressure is still on before eventually being cleared away. Remco puts that one up high. Passion
what a
should get the
shot! That was incredible.
It's going to be put up high by Devo. Mystic tries to get him up over the top. Going to try and pinch that one downwards. Pressure is still there. Pashy eventually with a clearance over to the side. Here we go, more pressure coming in from Northern Gaming. Maestro turns his car over to the side, off the backboard, tries to get the boost over for a second touch. Nothing there for him. As Mystic comes through, clearance away. Remco's got to get himself back just in time, but Maestro's going to be the one to put pressure onto this. And we're just seeing this pace slow down very slightly. As Violent Panda off the backboard, taken away, and Northern Gaming looking comfortable in defense yet again, but they still need to find themselves a goal. They might need to find themselves two if Devo could get that one in.
They have to be careful making sure if Maka can spread this anymore. We've seen them, they're a team that knows how to turtle as well. They know how to lock themselves into the net. They know how to put a bunch of people on defense and just prevent as many shots as possible for the game, if that's what they choose. Although it seems so far in this series they've chosen the more offensive route. They've been staying aggressive and staying in Northern Gaming's faces.
It's one of those things that we haven't actually seen it much from Mocket recently, where we've seen them turtle up, but it's certainly a skill they are capable of. It was once a skill they were known for, but no need for it so far. They've still got plenty of time left in this matchup to put a second one past Northern Gaming, who are still trying to pile the pressure on. Devo now, ball on top of his hood. That is not a situation that Northern Gaming would naturally like to find themselves in, but they've got away with it. Devo was unable to put too much pressure on. Violent Panda looks for the second touch. Here comes Pashi. He'll be that second touch. And there's the comfortable lead.
Somehow beating out a Northern Gaming player. I think Maestro came in a net a little bit too early, tried to rotate back. Mystic wanted to take his spot. Look at that. You see Maestro. That's the frustration of just being in the same place at the same time. He pretty much was in a useless position at that point. He's not covering any more ground than his teammate was just following up. He wasn't in net to be able to block that. So he was really just kind of like a body hoping that a shot would come towards him.
Forces the save out of Mystic early on. As Mocket looking stronger and stronger as we continue with this series. These two teams tied in Series 1 during the regular season. As they continue their rivalry here. Plays the ball over to the side. Violent Panda gets a slight touch on that. He's going to be able to follow that one up without any rebound from Mocket or Northern Gaming. Maestro puts that one up. Here comes Remco. Gets beats that one by Devo. Now him and Violent Panda are going to try and follow that one up. Well, at least they were until Devo became fragments on the pitch. Now here comes Violent Panda delaying his aerial for the longest time. Beautiful play.
This is how you do a double touch at a tier like this. You pull in that defender, you wait patiently. Last second, he finally pulls it. Once he sees Maestro make the dedication to the save, and the amount of goal coverage Maestro would have had to try and, I mean, Violent Panda had the whole net open to him. He could have put it anywhere on net. No one contested him, so he had all the angle he needed.
Very smart there from Violent Panda, just taking his time. Sees that Maestro's on the side of the wall. If you're on the side wall, you have to go eventually, and it's not like you can correct yourself midair. You have to launch and hope at some point. So just taking his time means that it's going to be a very nice third goal for Mocket, as there are 30 seconds remaining in this match. Mystic and try and follow that one up, but Pashi clears that one over. Only to Devo. That pressure still on. Northern Gaming look just almost frustrated with the way they're trying to approach goals, although they might pick one up here, forcing the save out of Pashi after the missed clear. But Northern Gaming, they can get one here. That's going to be the consolation goal. It's not beautiful, but it is a goal.
I just want to silently watch this and just call out each whiff.
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 Whiff. Whiff.
Whiff.
Goal.
Hooray! Huzzah!
That was just when you just expect people to hit it and you have to read really quickly. That is a circumstance you find yourself in. But with a 3-goal padding, I don't think Mocket is too worried about letting that one in.
Certainly won't be, as they will take the 2-1 lead in this series. Mocket looking comfortable right now. It wasn't as slick as that game 2, but at the same time, they are looking very, very comfortable.
They are, but yes, as you said, we didn't see the insane aggression we saw previously to this.
Do you see that stat? Do you see that stat?
That is insane. You can give it to him.
They can see it. That is 7 saves for Pashi 90. That is ludicrous. That is, I don't think I've seen that in a very long time. That is not something that happens.
And a 100% shooting rate. 1 goal to 1 shot.
Pashi still got it. Don't question him. He still got it.
He may be a player that looks quiet at times, but he's just, and that's sometimes how you know that player's doing well. If they're quiet and you don't notice them, it means they're probably filling in their role perfectly. They're getting the touches they needed. They're clearing what they need. They save what they need. 7 saves. That's 7 shots from Northern Gaming. That's not just blocking it or contesting it. That is a shot on goal from a Northern Gaming player. All players we know with incredible striking capabilities. And Pashy with 7, that is obscene.
Well, we can see there from the shots, 11 shots there for Northern Gaming, 4 shots for Mocket, 3 goals for Mocket. It's not hard to say that Pashy's defense, yes, we see 4 goals as well from his teammates, but 7 saves. It's not hard to make the argument that that is a defensive carry, the rarest carry.
And they're a team that knows how to play defense well. As I said, they can turtle up. When they have the lead, they're great at just dropping back. They stick 2 in net. They have 1 guy just go and kind of battle out for it. They contest well. They know how to read it off their own backboard. And they can just shut teams down, and it's got to be frustrating, especially Northern Gaming. A team that likes to take the great plays, the nice passes for the good hard shots, and it to still get saved over and over again.
Well, Northern Gaming have now lost 2 games on the trot, and they've got to try and find a way of breaking that before it becomes free. As they get ourselves into game number 4 in the first game, the first series, I should say, of our EU regional finals to crown our European champions. Devo going to get himself up early to put pressure onto that one, but Maestro attempts to clear away. It's going to be a loose ball. Pashy puts that shot, but it's going to be a loose and weak one, but still the pressure on. Maestro forced to get to that one before Devo does. As Mocket continuing their momentum, refusing to let up. And Northern Gaming look like they're just trying to survive early on in this match.
When Mocket does take those slightly weaker midfield shots, they're still placing it perfectly to the corners to make sure they can pull out a Northern Gaming player and they're not going to get a hard clear.
That's going to be an early goal there for Remco. Finds his way through.
If they don't retreat quick enough, though, you're going to see it. Northern Gaming take advantage. That second flick from Remco, perfectly getting it over a defender. Mocket not able to retreat quick enough. I don't think they expected Remco to recover so quickly.
Remco snapped his fingers, and then there was space for him to work in, and he gets himself Northern Gaming's first goal in what they will hope will be a win to bring themselves back into this series. As Maestro clears that one away. Over to Pashy, though, who tries to get off the backboard. Mystic, once again, not allowing that. And it's such an interesting thing that we've seen as these teams progress and get more and more skillful, that not only do we see teams try and save shots going in towards their goal, we see teams trying to save shots from going off their backboard, because it is that dangerous.
Once you give a team an opportunity, especially at this level, the next touch is most likely going to be on target. So you're just putting yourself in a situation where you know you're going to have to make a save, so why not prevent it?
Oh, Pashy not in position to turn that one in. Violent Panda out of position on the aerial upwards. Tried to just angle his car to try and spoon that one into the net. But wasn't quite able to, and Northern Gaming hold on to their lead. Mystic clears that one over. Maestro's got to get the extra touch, and he does. What a great touch that was, forcing the save out of Devo. And here come Northern Gaming, looking to try and extend their lead to 2 goals, leaving that ball for Mystic off that backboard. And that might be Pashy. He set up Maestro, and Maestro says, oh, well, thank you very much.
Giving Pashy's team a taste of their own demolition medicine off that backboard. Actually, a crazy read from the backboard, but it didn't matter. Mystic took out the guy behind him. He took out his support, left the net wide open for Maestro to come in and seal the deal.
Pashy's aerial would have been fantastic if it was just a split second later. Would have been able to catch it off the hood of his car, but doesn't work. And here we see Northern Gaming picking up the pace. They're starting to look very, very strong in this match, getting it off that backboard and following it every single time. And it looks like it's an area that Mocket are struggling with. As Mystic over into the side, Violent Panda ends up beating him to it, and Devo doesn't get any contact onto that as Violent Panda yet again plays it up high. How much boost does he have? Not enough. Now Remco, just with the clearance to the side as Pashy going to try and put something together now. Mocket, they need to start finding gaps in this Northern Gaming defense that is looking much stronger than in previous games in this series. And there's the attempt at a block shot from Pashy. Not quite coming up, but it's very good to see that they are putting that pressure on, trying to find a way through.
They are doing their best with a 2-goal padding. I think this is the furthest they've been behind so far in this series, I believe.
Oh, almost found a way through. I think you might be right on that. It seems like we've had a lot of 1-goal differentials when Northern Gaming have been in the lead, although I couldn't quite confirm that one for you.
This game's too exciting. It's hard for me to keep memories, but
almost save! Maestro forced to come through and just make sure that hits the crossbar and not allowing any rebounds to come through. Now Devo's got to get himself back just in time. But that is the danger when you play against Mocket. Yes, they can put together team plays, but they can also, any of them, can shoot from anywhere on the map.
I feel like that can go for all 6 players on this team. The amount of midfield opportunities you've seen that just barely make it or just get barely saved has been kind of incredible.
Violent Panda is going to probably be giving Remco evil eyes, or Maestro I should say, after that bump as Violent Panda was trying to get himself set up for a rebound shot. Maestro plays that one down. Devo misses it. Mystic misses it. Pashi turns that one into his own net. Oh dear, he's now made up for the fact that he got so many saves last game by setting up Northern Gaming a couple of times here.
I mean, it was a nice shot.
It was a
fantastic
fantastic shot.
That honestly blows my mind, the kind of touch that just was.
That was...
Like, that doesn't make...
I mean, a golf
probably almost a little
least.
happy with how cool that was. That was a really nice shot.
I don't think he'll be happy at all, because that has made a mountain out of a hill for Mocket to try and climb up if they want to try and take this game away from Northern Gaming. But yeah, I'll agree with you. That might be potentially, apart from the teamwork play we saw earlier, the best goal we've seen in this series so far.
I mean, it just goes to show that all it takes is the tiny alteration of the car, and that ball goes nowhere near where you intended it. Just to kind of give everyone an idea of exactly how accurate these players need to be, how fast-paced this game can be. One tiny alteration, and that ball literally did one of the craziest angles off of his hood into his own net.
Yep, just ploops off the top of his car and into the net as Mocket are staring down a loss here, which would put them 2-2 in this series, which requires 4 games to win in this best of 7. Violent Panda over to Devo. Devo gets that one up high. He's going to try and follow it. Is he going to go for the Devo? No, that touch from Remco ruins that potential play. How dare you? I love seeing those double touches from Devo.
Remco actually almost put it in his own net. He ended up on the wrong side of the ball. But Maestro is spreading this. I don't see a comeback happening. I'm actually going to give this game to Northern Gaming.
It's rare that we're ever confident enough to actually say, yeah, it's over. It's definitely over. But 4 goals are better than 3. And for 5 seconds remaining, Northern Gaming are bouncing back from 2 losses on the trot to put themselves back into this series. And what a series this is turning out to be. Mystic ends up missing that one, but the winner of Game 4, Northern Gaming.
Keeping this series nice and tied up. Now 2-2 in this best of 7. Northern Gaming able to come alive a little bit more in this game. Some more power, some more passing plays, a lot of midfield shots. Or I guess 3. I think some of those probably didn't get registered because they were stopped a little bit closer.
Yes.
But 3 shots to 4 goals. Obviously, something's a little... Oh, no, never mind. There was an own goal from Pashi. That does make sense. But that's pretty much nearly a 100% shooting. That is. Look at that. 3 shots to 3 goals by Maestro. Taking the small, tiny opportunities that Mocket is presenting to them. And that's just, like, Northern Gaming able to see that. They're not overcommitting. They're trying not to do too much. I think they caught themselves in awkward positions in previous games that they've been losing against Mocket, where Mocket's putting a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, and we also see that 1 save for Mocket. They have gone from possibly the most impressive defensive game I've seen to one of the weakest. It's definitely going to be interesting. Can they bounce back from that as we move forwards?
I mean, and I think it also goes to show that, at least for this game particularly, Northern Gaming wasn't taking unnecessary shots on net.
Yes.
A lot of times, a team, which we saw Mocket Aces do quite a bit actually, they take shots even from midfield, even if they're a little bit weak, just to draw a defender out of net. Put it to the corner, make him put it to his own corner. Obviously, he's not going to get a good clear from this, from the position that you're putting it. And Mocket was doing that, but Northern Gaming chose to not do that game. They were just taking the opportunities that were presented. Every time they saw a gap, they took it. But other than that, they tried to stay calm and collected, just keep control until they were able to make an opportunity.
Well, we're going to head ourselves into game number 5. 2-2 is the scoreline. Could not be any closer as we get ourselves into this match. And the kickoff is going to go early in Northern Gaming's favor. Not the contact that Maestro wanted to put early pressure on, but Violent Panda forced to react. So is Devo, and that's going to be dangerous until eventually being cleared away. Both these teams starting out with their intent to score and get themselves into an early lead as Mystic passes that one over to Maestro. Maestro up off the backboard. Who's going to be the first one onto that? It is going to be Mystic as Pashi gets the save onto that. And now Pashi looking for the follow-up. How much boost does he have? Just not going to have enough to try and follow it up, and well played there by Northern Gaming, taking their time, letting the ball bounce and realizing they weren't under any immediate pressure.
That takes a lot to be able to keep yourself calm, especially in a setting so large. Here at the RLCS in the finals, you see them still able to just, you know what, we're going to leave this in front of our net because we know they're not coming up. To be able to keep your head calm enough, I think from Remco's camera it actually looked terrifying, but he knew his teammate would be there.
I think for us, when we look at this, everything, if we look at it from anyone's camera angle, is terrifying. So how do you deal with this? Oh, that's how you deal with this. You make it look too easy. As Remco puts that pressure on, Devo clears that one away over to the side. And here comes that pressure yet again from Northern Gaming. Not a single pass or a single clear can afford to go wrong here for Mocket. Otherwise, they risk being scored on. Nice save there from Pashi after that unexpected shot from a tight angle. And that could be a long shot. Great save there from Remco. But here's the follow-up. Another save from Remco. The wall of Northern Gaming.
The fact that they got there just in time both times was incredible. Both of those saves just last second. But as you said, Northern Gaming keeping their cool on defense, trying to make sure they get there in time. The frustration of not putting those on net, Mocket might have just overcommitted a bit.
Putting that one over to the side. Pashi tries to get one past Remco, but Remco just refusing to go anywhere. He is unbeatable when it comes to trying to get the ball past him. Violent Panda doesn't get the contact he wants. That opens up the space for Maestro, but he doesn't get any contact onto it. That's going to open up Devo to go for the dribbling play until Mystic just comes in from the side and says, "Nap mine, yoink."
Yoink.
Yoink. As Maestro gets himself up, puts the shot onto target, and Pashi forced to go for it. Another save. And both these teams having very good opportunities so far. Neither of them able to get through, but it's not through a lack of quality chances. It's just been quality defense. Taking the time yet again. Pashi, I believe that might have just been the fake aerial.
It most definitely was. Going unanswered from this first touch. He goes up. Everyone expecting him to get just one more touch. Mystic waiting till the last second to try and get the read. And then Pashi came down thinking, maybe he'll think I'll get another touch even after I kind of faked him. Mystic trying to go just a little bit too early. He definitely could have gotten that save, but I think trying to expect too many moves from Pashi, but almost an answer immediately.
Almost the perfect response from Northern Gaming. They find themselves behind halfway of this game being completed. Violent Panda puts that over to the side. Remco tries to clear that one away. Northern Gaming trying to put something together, but these long clearances won't result in anything other than a lack of pressure being on your defense. But when you're trailing, you need to try and find yourself a way through. Remco, nice control from him. Gets that one over to Mystic. Mystic goes up high. Lovely dribble play from him. Maestro tries to follow it up. Great team play coming through, but even better defense.
Both of these teams have exhibited just incredible defense.
Oh, that's
there's the shot!
That is the one that breaks the camel's back. Too much pressure being put on, and eventually Mocket break.
Two dedicating to that. You can see that's all it takes. One tiny mistake on these incredibly unblockable defenses, or unbeatable defenses, it seems. One tiny mistake, two players going for the same ball, and you can get a nice lob into the net as Northern Gaming ties up the game in a tie series.
That is the really interesting thing about Rocket League is, yes, you can have a couple of fantastic saves, but the pressure does not go away. You have to get rid of it entirely, and eventually, no matter how many great saves you get, if you keep having shots come towards you, it is eventually going to go in. As Maestro tries to find a way through, Devo just gets a nice little body block onto him, not allowing the full contact to come through for Maestro. As Violent Panda tries to get himself over, he's going to get slight contact. No, he isn't, but the pressure is still there. Devo should be the first one to that, gets it off the backboard. Going to try and go for the follow-up, chooses not against it, actually. It's Maestro just trying to clear it away, and we are a 1-1 game with a very little time remaining. That means the next goal is going to be absolutely huge.
It is, and this is one of the few games they've both had incredible offensive opportunities, but I can actually say I'm more impressed with both of these teams' defensive positionings this game than I have in pretty much in the entire season of watching them. They're really just pulling it out.
Off the backboard, trying to go for the save. Just always with pressure on. Both these teams very good at putting together their own particular plays. Now Pashi leaves that, tries to get it past, but Mystic had his Maestro's back covered. That's going to be going off the backboard. Remco getting a late touch onto that, but it's enough to try and keep pressure away. Mystic's by himself. Devo tries to just get that one over to middle, and now Pashi with the setup. Here comes Violent Panda. Violent Panda was the final one, but all three members of Northern Gaming going for that save, and that is going to cost them. No, it isn't. Shot was not onto target. That was an open goal, but it was quite a distance to shoot from. Ball going to be played over to the side. Pashi forced to go for the save, plays it over. There comes Violent Panda taking it the entire way. 10 seconds remaining in this matchup. Pashi 90 puts that one up high. Remco just puts that one over, and Devo with the shot, but it's not going to be dangerous enough. And Maestro just wants this one to touch the floor. Northern Gaming just want to see it, see the green, and we're eventually going to get ourselves into overtime.
Keeping it tied up so close, up until the very end of the series. I mean, this couldn't be a more neck-and-neck series if they tried to make it.
Mystic with pressure over to Pashi. Pashi over to the corner, and Devo doesn't want it to go away. We're seeing here more and more these teams have to use not one touch, but have to put together 2 or 3 touches just to get out of offensive pressure. As As Remco tries to put that one down, 2 players for the save for that, and now Mystic keeps that pressure going off the backboard. No one in position to turn that one in off the rebound. There was no one there for Mocket to put pressure on. But Northern Gaming, constant pressure for them. That could be Remco's off the crossbar twice. Maestro off the side of the wall. And Mocket, hold on.
Just barely. Let's see if they can keep this up. This pressure from Northern Gaming is unbearable, but somehow Mocket has come out alive.
You can check the field after this match for when Mocket Aces put their feet into the ground and dug their heels in, refusing to budge for that 3rd save. And that is going to keep them in this matchup. A crucial match as well, because the winner of this is going to be on series point. The series point that could send them through to our regional finals. Maestro clears that one up high. Pashi with the save. And yet another long clearance is something I expect to see more and more of these teams now that the next goal is as important as it is, the attempted passing play. Over to Remco. Remco puts that one down, hits the crossbar yet again. As Mocket going to be starting to ask if there is a 4th player on the field for Mocket. As Devo shot onto target, and that is going to be the victory for Mocket Aces.
Somehow battling through that offensive push from Northern Gaming. We see that tiny mistake from Mystic. Remco, you saw him make the hesitation. He started to boost forward, then he slammed on his brakes, unaware of where that shot was going to come from. He thought Mystic was going to take that. Mocket must, the biggest sigh of relief for them after having to deal with those shots.
Certainly will do. 5 saves apiece for Pashi and Violent Panda in that game. Devo looking at them just going, okay, you did good, but he even keeps up with them. He was fantastic for that entire game, always with the setups. Mocket looking very solid right now. Northern Gaming looking very solid right now. What a series we have on our hands.
I want to look at previous statistics because Northern Gaming had 17 shots that game. Overtime included, doesn't matter. That is an unbelievable amount of shots for any team to put up, especially against another top-tier team. But Mocket somehow still won the game, even after dealing with so many shots. We've talked about it before. Their ability to just stay in net and kind of turtle and just stay prepared and ready for things, I don't understand.
They just soak it up. They just say, all right, you can come to us, and we will deal with it, and eventually we'll find a way to break your defense. And it came down to, as you said, one hesitation. That is the level we're playing at here. One hesitation can cost you an entire game.
That's what I feel like every single game this series has been. It's been just a few goals different, and every goal is because one tiny mistake, whether it be 2 people go for the same ball, or whether it be one tiny hesitation, or whether it be accidentally bumping a teammate. It's always just been they've been playing really well in the long run. I mean, neither of these teams have made any large mistakes, but it just really comes down to the fact that they, you capitalize. Like capitalizing is the biggest
on everything,
thing.
Yeah. And that is very impressive for Mocket. Just to keep the pressure consistently on. Like, they soaked up a lot that game. But just to know the fact that, all right, it's our chance. Let's rotate over. Let's get ourselves into position, because we've seen a lot, especially last week, where the nerves are on. It becomes very difficult to get past that mental barrier of, yeah, I need to go forward now, because it can be so tempting just to stay back and say, if I don't concede, I can't lose. No, these players go forward and they say, I'm going to be the winner of this game.
And it's not even that. There's like a double mental thing that happens when you get a really nice save or when you have to make a whole bunch. You're hyped up, you're pumped, you're like, oh my God, we just saved that. But then you're also kind of frustrated. You're like, I just want to try and take a shot. I want to stop making saves. Because every save you make, you have to use boost. And for every time you use boost, if you can't get to more boost pads, you're just getting closer and closer to running out. And that's what you're trying to do. You try and dry them out. You try and steal the boost while you're in there. Suck it all out of them to the point where they can't make the saves.
Yeah, it was something that Northern Gaming have tried to do throughout this series. Both teams actually have attempted to do this, but no success for either team. Just every time they try and put consistent pressure on over these past 2 or 3 games, it's not been allowed. Yes, we saw it in the first 2, but ever since then, these teams have been very good at playing it out of their own half. So, match point for Mocket Aces, as they will try and take this series over Northern Gaming, our #1 seed coming into this week. And Mocket bouncing back very well after what was a very difficult series for them against a resurging Precision Z, who came up with their best series I've ever seen out of them. But Mocket proving that, yeah, it was a one-off, and we are still one of Europe's best as they try and take this over. As Devo, early block there from him. Violent Panda just over the top. Early pressure coming in from Mocket as they're getting to absolutely everything first. Pashi trying to get off the backboard. Devo almost turns that one in. I think that was like 5 or 6 touches from different players from Mocket, all of them unanswered.
Northern Gaming has to be careful. It's leaving it in front of your net and letting Maka take these shots. It's what's going to punish them. Both teams have somehow managed to eke out enough defense to pull it off, but you're still putting yourself at a risk.
Pashy trying to take his time. Mystic doesn't have time for that, though. Just barrels down at him. And Violent Panda with the attempt to dribble, but the ball played too far away from him, and Devo tries to go for the block. Violent Panda's going to wait downfield because he sees Pashy. Ends up choosing to rotate backwards. Devo, nice touch up into the air, and we're seeing a lot of long balls being played here between these two teams as they try and find their way through. Mystic has his opportunity. He's going to be beat to that one by the defending Devo. And Violent Panda just staying upfield yet again. We're seeing him spend a lot of time just down there, just saying, if the ball comes to me, I'm going to be good to try and turn that one in. But here is Northern Gaming's chance to press. Mystic almost goes the whole way.
That would have been phenomenal, trying to get it off that back. But we've seen Maka so many times, still reading it off their own backboard from the ground. Usually,
That was just great. It just inside the heads of not one, but two players at the same time, forcing another player to come out and almost ruining the rotation of Northern Gaming just to deal with Pashy's dribbling.
What I think is interesting is Maka doesn't sit on their own backboard very much for defense, at least not considered comparative to some other teams. They will take the backboard saves from the ground, which I think in turn gives them a bit more power, but it definitely puts them at more of a risky opportunity. They might get there a little bit slower, but they have to be able to read it a lot better. It is a much harder angle to read from.
Yeah, it's certainly something that would not be advised for any other team, but we've got a team here that has produced a 1-11 save game and 1-10 save game, so they can almost get away with it. You'd be able to make the argument for, obviously, you don't want to see it. Gibbs said it best a couple of weeks back. The best defense is to see no saves on your team, because that means you didn't give them the opportunity. Ball played up high. Pashy just going to try and turn that one in, but Remco, easy save for him. As Violent Panda keeps that pressure going, but only over to Remco yet again. As Mystic clears that one away, looking for a teammate, but Pashy's the first one over to that. Devo, long clearance. Still a 0-0 game here. As Mystic, long clearance just over to the middle, actually, and Remco's going to try and follow that, but easily cleared away by Violent Panda. We're not seeing as many team plays coming through from either of these squads. Like, they were so good earlier on in the game, but now it's just turned into a don't make a mistake sort of match.
We did speak on it a lot of these games. The winning game, the winning team resulted mostly because of one tiny mistake, but there's the passing play.
Finally coming through for Mocket. They almost managed to open up the Northern Gaming defense, but once again, rock solid. As Violent Panda gets himself a flick up. He's going to have time to try and attack this off the backboard. That should be Maestro's as he gets it over Devo, but Devo takes out Maestro, who is still in the air. He's just landed. And Remco pressure on, but once again, these backboard plays not allowed to happen. Here's the attempt at a pass. What a save from Devo off the back wall.
Just when I talked about them not being on the back wall, we see him take it from the top, but he waited patiently. I was actually on board with his camera. He was fully confident in getting that save. He saw it coming, and he just went down.
Mocket always with someone on that line, ready to come in at the last second and steal away the hope of a goal. As Violent Panda tries to play that one away to set it up for Remco, who's got off the back ball. Devo did react, but does get contact onto it. That's going to not allow any rebound play to happen. As here comes the clearance. Pashy tries to look for someone, but he only finds Maestro. Maestro doesn't get great contact onto it. It's going to allow Mocket to continue piling on the pressure. Maestro puts that ball up high. 40 seconds remaining. We are getting, well, we're in that stage now where one goal is absolutely massive for either team that can get it. If Mocket can put that one in, they might find their way through to our finals today, as Mystic tries to turn that one in, but Devo once again smothering that play, not allowing it to go anywhere.
You brought up a fantastic point. They really have quieted down. We don't see nearly as much power coming out of these teams, especially passing-wise. But as you said, I think they really are just scared to make that one tiny mistake that results in the goal, especially now with such little time left and so much on the line.
Well, there are shots coming up on the statistics, but none of them have really been that dangerous apart from the incredible save off the backboard. Remco's got to deal with this, and we could potentially be seeing overtime, but that ball is up into the air. The last possible second, and Violent Panda doesn't want to have to deal with it. We're seeing overtime.
I would be honestly impressed if he had the gall to try and make that touch.
Just, yeah, guys, we're playing this from our own half. We're going to take it the whole way, and we're going to try and score. And speaking of trying to score, here goes the attempted rebound play. Almost finds its way through. Now Mocket have got to deal with it. They are unable to. Game 7, here we come.
13 seconds. It's all from a touch from Mystic and an unanswered response from that backboard. That is exactly what I was talking about. Mach, while it is good that they wait a little bit long for those backboard touches to try and make the save for the more powerful touch, it puts them at a scarier position. And there it was, again, on a mistake. Just missing that defensive play gave Northern Gaming the opportunity.
That is the danger that you run when you go for such a timid game that we saw from both of these teams. It's just one mistake is all it needs. And that was such a cluster towards the end that, yes, Mocket could have got it away, but it's so dangerous to try and deal with. You're hoping upon hope. You're not really giving it your own skill. It's just more hoping that your own skill doesn't give out.
And right after kickoff, teams look and feel so chaotic because you're not in the positions you're normally going to be. You're still trying to pick up boosts. You're all kind of scavenging, trying to pick up as much as you can. And the team that's coming at you is also coming at you from slightly weirder positions because off of kickoff, usually you're more spread out or two people are really close, especially if they did a cheating opportunity where they try to follow up on the kickoff really quickly, which you generally wouldn't see as much unless you've had time to read, and it usually happens like this.
Yeah, well, typically we see one of two types of overtimes, especially in these low-scoring types of games. You either get the ones where the kickoff goes and you immediately see a goal within like 10 to 20 seconds, and you get the other ones where the teams get the kickoff and they realize next goal wins. And they both turtle up and we see long games, but this is a short one. The series certainly hasn't been short. It has been a battle between these two teams, and it all comes down to one more game.
This couldn't be more exciting. They couldn't have put this any closer. They are fighting tooth and nail, trying their best. Both teams want to continue on, and it is now Game 7 between Northern Gaming and Market Aces.
Violent Panda's going to turn that one over to the side as we get ourselves into such a big match, trying to not only sort yourself out with a little bit of cash dollar, but also sorting yourself out with very good seeding going into Amsterdam, which could even guarantee you even more cash dollar. As Violent Panda gets that one over to the side, Mystic clears that one away though. And here comes the follow-up, a demolish from Remco, almost opened up a path and it could still be there, but Remco beats that one. Here comes the pressure, Violent Panda puts that one up high. Cleared over to the side. Here comes Pashi. Doesn't get the contact he needs. Devo's going to be forced to try and take that one under his control. Not something that he ever really has problem with, though. It's just like, Devo, take control. Okay, I've got it. I've definitely got it. And almost puts that one in from the off his Violent Panda. Now here comes the reverse pressure from Northern Gaming. Misses coming through. Here comes Mystic. But he's not going to get anything too dangerous onto that one. Those rolling passes never tend to beat these much more advanced teams that pretty much have seen that type of play over and over again. But here comes Northern Gaming putting pressure on, but we're seeing the Game 7 nerves here. No one willing to try and put even an ounce of pressure onto that pass.
No, they really are not. And I always find it hilarious how one whiff almost results in at least one, maybe even two more, because these guys are expecting. They know how each other plays. They know exactly the skill level they're dealing with. So whiffs are so uncommon that you're actually always reading the hit. And as soon as a miss comes in, there's almost always some of the other team's going to do a miss or a really weak touch in response.
Oh, Maestro tries to put it off his own wall, or the Mocket Aces wall, but unable to get the contact that he desired. So that ball is now open up into the middle of the field. Maestro putting that pressure on. Going to try and follow this one up, trying to get it into somewhere where Remco can work with it, but once again, too close to that goal area that Violent Panda is easily able to deal with it. And you just get the feeling that as tensy and as nervy as this one is, that first goal is going to really open up this match. And we could see it here. Pashi tries to get it down, goes for the follow-up. Doesn't quite turn that one in. And we're still looking for that first goal as we come towards the second half of this game. Almost managed to turn that one in, but Pashi scrambles his way back.
But as you said, so quiet. We're only seeing...
Oh, what a play! That's going to be turned in! And that is exactly what you want. Try to play it to the side, and here is Mystic. He's going to go for the pass.
That first touch, and again off the backboard, giving them a taste of what we saw earlier when Devo came off the backboard trying to beat a defender. And almost an identical style play from one player to the backboard, then preventing the defender from trying to hit it, throwing all the defenders off and getting the goal, putting them one goal up. This is looking good for Northern Gaming.
This should certainly be the goal that opens up this match, and if you mock it, you look at that and just go, all right, out of every single place that any of the players of Northern Gaming should be, on our wall, is not one of them. He should not be there. So they'll definitely feel like that goal definitely took them by surprise as Maestro gets that one just up over the top. Northern Gaming need to make sure that they don't settle into the mindset of one goal will win it because it's Rocket League. One goal can get turned around instantly. as they try and put themselves in a second one. Devo doesn't get contact on that. Here's Maestro going for the follow-up, and now Northern Gaming trying to suppress Mocket Aces into their own half. Mystic is not going to be able to turn that one in. Great save there from Devo, but here come Mocket just trying to get it out of their final third. They might be given the space. They've actually opened it for Remco, who turns it in. A huge mistake.
It's almost like Mocket's trying to increase their heart rate by making these saves at the last second, but here we go. Another tiny mistake. Pashy and Devo finding themselves in the same location, and then just a weak pop-up. Perfectly up for Northern Gaming, to be honest. If a Northern Gaming player did that, I would have called it a great pass.
Certainly would have done, but yeah, two players in the same place, neither of them knowing who should have taken it. It's going to result in a much harder task for Mocket Aces, as they are going to try and bring themselves back into this match. They need something quite quick, and that's going to be a shot from Violent Panda. Could not have been any more at his opponent, who just gets the easy save without even any jumps, as Maestro gets that one up. Pashy clears that one over to the side. Here comes Devo, and there goes Devo, as Violent Panda puts that one up over to Pashy, but Pashy gets beat to that one by Remco. And here Mocket come. They need to keep this calm. They need to try and put together strong plays, because Northern Gaming will not be broken down by the phrase we used last week, cookie cutter plays. They need to come up with something very special, as that ball is played just a little bit too hard for Devo to get to, but here they go. Ball into that final third. Now just going to have to try and squeeze a goal out of Northern Gaming.
The beginning of this game, Mocket, I felt like, was a bit too passive. They'd get one shot on goal, and they were a little too scared to follow it up because they didn't want to deal with a counterattack.
Remco clears that one away. Maestro immediately gets its contact onto that, because he knows that that could have been a pass over to a Mocket player. As here it is, Violent Panda could not have placed that any better. There is hope for Mocket Gaming.
Not even able to see the goal very well from his angle, but he knew what it was. He saw the lines on the ground. He took the shot perfectly to the corner, actually behind Maestro, who didn't expect the placement to be as good as it was, perfectly into the bottom right corner. 27 seconds left. This is actually very possible for them to tie this up.
The heart rates must be pumping right now, as these teams are trying to get themselves into that finals. One goal is all that separates them, and Mocket need to break down the Northern Gaming defense one more time. They need to get it out of their half first, as Maestro puts that one off the backboard. And there's a demolish. Maestro was trying to get a second one, but he was slowed down so much. 5 seconds remaining in this match. Remco turns that one in, and what's better than a good defense? A 2-goal lead.
You couldn't be more right. Northern Gaming now pretty much sealing this deal. That touch, I mean, not much you can do. That was floating right down into you. I think he was running out of boost, and that's what I'm saying. Northern Gaming was able to just suck Mocket drive everything they had, all the resources, not allowing them to go for the touches they want because they can't get the speed without boost. And here we go.
That is going to be it. What a series we have witnessed. There is a goal. You know what? They definitely deserve that. Mocket have given us a heck of a series along with their opponents, and a deserving goal there for Devo using the roof.
I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if this game went into overtime. This series could not have gone more back and forth, and at the same time, both showing incredible offense and incredible defense, sometimes alternating games, which they showed when we saw some of the highest saves and highest shots in just this series alone. Incredible gameplay from both Northern Gaming and Mocket Aces, but Northern Gaming comes out on top and moves ahead.
Yep, they are going to be moving themselves into the final. There is still plenty to play, though, for this Mocket squad, as they will be taking on whoever in the third place match. But we're not here to talk about that. We've got people who are paid to talk about that, and they're over at the analyst desk.
Thank you, Shogun and Final Carpet. What an excellent match to start things off here for the European Regional Championship. So close, so back and forth there between Northern Gaming and Mocket Aces. But congrats to Northern Gaming advancing on to the next round. Let's take another look at that one. Let's take a look at the highlights from that match. See exactly how that unfolded. Lots of good ones.
Yeah, this series was all about defense and also just really random own goals. It felt like this entire series, like the defense looks so good and then all of a sudden it just breaks because of the pressure by both teams.
But still, the team plays. Like, look at this one right here where Pashy hit it right to Devo, and Devo to Panda. We saw the same thing from Northern Gaming later on, but yes, some amazing defensive plays, especially by Mocket, who held off in that game number 5 in overtime, where it seemed like Northern Gaming was going to put it through, and their defense held strong, and they ended up getting the win.
Yeah, without a Maestro own goal and for Mocket, it seemed like Mocket had to come up with those phenomenal plays to break down Northern Gaming's defense, and they just kind of ran out of them in game 6 and 7. And Devo, he scores that overtime winner in game 5. That was his first goal of the series at that point. So it took him 26 minutes, and then he didn't score again until game 7 and .0 seconds when it didn't matter. So Devo, again, a very quiet series, just like last week, after a phenomenal regular season.
And also one thing we didn't really touch on was the fact that Mystic, also a player on Mocket who teamed with Pashy in the first RLCS Season 1, and he was actually replaced before going to the live event. He was replaced by Turbo Pulsa, so you know that he wanted revenge. And his mistake, his whiff in game number 5, led to that goal to put Northern Gaming within 1 of losing the series. But then in game number 6, he got the overtime winner and really just stepped up to help Northern Gaming get the win. And they're moving on, and they will be playing for the EU Regional Championship.
Yeah, they are, and they had to earn that one as a very back and forth series. We had a couple overtimes in there as well, but makes for super awesome Rocket League for our purposes. And we have plenty more matches coming your way. So Mocket Aces will still be around. They're going to be playing in the 3rd, 4th place match in our 3rd match. But coming up next, it's the next semifinal. It's Flipside Tactics versus Precision Z. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the European Regional Championships as we find out who is the best team in Europe. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Rocket League. Stay tuned.